All right, everybody, I'm back. I missed getting to do this. Get ready for another live stream concert tonight, and I'm very much looking forward to this one. I want to thank my friend Bill Huffman from Pennsylvania, who's already watching, I know, for the idea to do this concert. I've done tributes to a number of great ragtime composers and songwriters and even performers like Bing Crosby, and one day, I think it was back in February, he happened to mention that it was Walter Donaldson's birthday. And then I thought about it some more and I realized I know so many Donaldson songs that it would be a wonderful idea to do a tribute to Walter Donaldson. So here we go, and I'm going to start out with the song that was actually the very first one that he ever published, and it's called Back Home in Tennessee. If you're a Johnny Maddox fan like me, you're familiar with that song. He used it for the title of one of his albums, and I'm going to do it just the way that Johnny used to do it, with I Could Picture Me, Back Home in Tennessee, which was written by Walter Donaldson in 1915 and introduced by Al Jolson. home in Tennessee. Hold on a second, I'm going to adjust this. I think that's a little bit straighter. Sorry, it's never perfect. Anyhow, you know what I was just thinking when I was listening to that? The Eddie Cantor song is called My Sunny Tennessee, but it quotes my old Kentucky home. It's ironic. So many of the great Tin Pan Alley songwriters in New York wrote about these southern states, most of which they'd never been to. It's just really funny. The same is true of, Gershwin and Irving Caesar in the song Swanee. But we've got a lot of great songs tonight. I have really enjoyed preparing these Donaldson songs. And like I say, he started his career in 1915 with that tune, Back Home in Tennessee. He wrote another one that was a big hit called We'll Have a Jubilee in My Old Kentucky Home, another southern tune, but I've never played that one. We'll skip that. And we're going to go right to one of his big hits that came out in World War I. And this song is really funny. It's How You Gonna Keep Them Down on the Farm After They've Seen Perry. So I'm just going to play the chorus of that for you, and I'm going to make it into a medley of two songs, which was a very common thing to do, especially around that World War I period. And the other tune is called Oh Frenchie, which was written by Con Conrad, the man that wrote Margie with J. Russell Robinson and tons of other wonderful songs. But first, How You Gonna Keep Them Down on the Farm? How you gonna keep them down on the farm? They'll never want to see a pick or a plow, but who the deuce can parlez-vous a cow? How you gonna keep them down on the farm after they've seen Perry? That's one of the songs that really put Mr. Donaldson on the map. And my friend Ken here is commenting how much he loves these old songs. Well, really, Ken, these first couple of songs that I'm doing tonight would be considered ragtime too. Through the World War I period, that was the common term, and then jazz kind of took over. But anyway, Walter Donaldson, you know, when I first thought about it, I kind of thought some of his songs could be just kind of dull. They're not real complicated necessarily. In a harmonic sense, you compare it to Gershwin or so forth. But there are so many songs that he wrote that are so well loved, that are very famous, and frankly, they're really good. They really are. And I'm going to play the most famous of them all for you. At least I think it probably is. We're going to do My Blue Heaven. We're going to jump ahead a bit now to 1927, which is when this song came out. And Gene Austin had the hit record on this. Although it's sometimes cited as the first record to sell 1 million copies, it probably was not. The record collector Joe Bazard told me that there's no way that it beat out Vernon Dalhart's record of the Prisoner Song, that was ultimately the first record that sold millions and millions of copies. But My Blue Heaven was still a very important song, and it was so popular at the time. One of the songwriters that I love, Glenn Rowell, the man who wrote I Get the Blues When It Rains, he wrote a song which is called What More Can I Do? And he wrote it by taking the melody of My Blue Heaven and turning it upside down. He said he was so sick of playing My Blue Heaven, that's why he wrote What More Can I Do? And so I make a medley out of these two songs. Here we go. My Blue Heaven and What More Can I Do? And there's My Blue Heaven. Thank you, folks. Hey, Penny, so glad to see that you're listening tonight. Sure miss you a lot. Hope you're doing all right. Yeah, Ken says, I don't know what a song upside down is. Well, here, I'll show you a little bit of the melody. That's My Blue Heaven. Glenn Ryle did this. Something like that. Anyway, you can hear it. You can hear it. Well, if you're just tuning in, maybe for the first time, I'm hoping I'm still getting a few new listeners once in a while. Please share the live stream. Also hit the like button. That helps with the algorithms on social media, both YouTube and Facebook, I'm pretty sure. And if you're so inclined, I accept virtual tips for these concerts. All you have to do is send in a tip on PayPal or Venmo, like you would in a restaurant or a bar. And the information is in the postings. And if you don't have PayPal or Venmo, I have a P.O. box on my website. And a lot of people like to send checks too. I really appreciate it. I haven't come up with a better way to say that yet. Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm going to play... Well, no, I don't know My Baby Just Cares For Me. I don't know it by heart. There'll probably be some requests tonight I can't do because it has to be a song that I know by heart. But I will do Makin' Whoopee. That's from the same show. I kind of like to go chronologically through the history of music when I do my concerts. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go back and do another one of the early Donaldson songs. Gloria Broadbent reminded me about this song. Gloria is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Got to see her down in Mississippi last week. And this one is from 1919, and I used to perform this with Ian Whitcomb. He did a wonderful version of this song. I don't know if I've played it since. I thought I was the only one that knew it until I met Ian. This is called When the Bees Make Honey Down in Sunny Alabama. And there's When the Bees Make Honey down in sunny Alabama. Here's another fairly early Donaldson song. And this is the original sheet music cover, which is really cute. And it has the great recording star Aileen Stanley on the cover. It looks like she sang this. It was probably a Broadway show called Silks and Satins. It's where she sang it. And I recorded this on my duet CD with Johnny Maddox 12 or 14 years ago. Something like that. And I haven't played it too many times since, but it's really cute. This is My Little Bimbo Down on the Bamboo Aisle. Music by Walter Donaldson, words by Grant Clark. I should mention a few of the lyricists that he worked with as we go along. There are many of the very best in the industry. So here's My Little Bimbo Down on the Bamboo Aisle. I hope that's not a derogatory term. I think it's just a cute term for, say, someone who lives on an island. I hope that's what it is. And there's My Little Bimbo Down on the Bamboo Aisle. Well, I spent all that time talking about the music I've practiced. Please do send in your requests. Hopefully, I know some of them by heart, and I bet some of them are already on the program. Donaldson's most famous songs, for instance, My Buddy. I might do that here in a minute. Al Jolson sang a whole lot of his songs over the years. Okay, bimbo is someone who lives on an island. I hope that's all it is. Let me check YouTube as well for requests here. We're doing a tribute to Walter Donaldson tonight. I'm afraid Sioux City Sue is a little too far out of the theme for tonight's concert. Maybe I'll do it towards the end of the concert if you want to stick around. Let me do a couple of the songs that Al Jolson introduced for Donaldson when he was writing in the early 20s. I'll just make a little medley out of two of them. The first one is extremely famous. If you've ever heard of Jolson, then you know this song. It's My Mammy. And after Mammy, we'll follow that right up with a song from 1922, which is Carolina in the Morning. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, the stream seems to be working fine on both YouTube and Facebook. Please share the stream if you know anybody you think might like this type of concert. Numbers appear to be down this week. Of course, that could just be because I didn't get to do a concert last week. I should be good for the next 2 or 3 weeks in a row. I mean, I'm going to be here home and able to do it. What else will we like, folks? I suppose if you're not familiar with the name Walter Donaldson, maybe you don't know what to request. So let me tell you one of his very most famous songs. Let me tell you about it from 1925. It's called Yes Sir, That's My Baby. So I have a big arrangement on that, which I've been playing for years as a medley with 5'2", Eyes of Blue. So we're going to represent a few other composers here as well. 5'2" was written by De Silva, Brown, and Henderson, another really terrific team of the 20s. And in fact, Ray Henderson's as songwriter or composer is kind of similar to Donaldson, but Yes Sir, That's My Baby, there's a story behind it. Apparently, the melody, there's only 2 notes, hardly, in the whole melody, and the idea came from a little toy pig that Donaldson bought for one of his kids. You wound it up and it played this little melody. That's part of the story of Yes Sir, That's My Baby. I'll even play the verse with it this time too. So here's Yes Sir, That's My Baby, and 5'2", Eyes of Blue. 1, 2. Thank you, everybody. Yes, sir, that's my baby. Oh, yeah. Frank wants to hear At Sundown. Let me do a slow one first, and then we'll do At Sundown. I know that one by heart. Is Kansas City Kitty Walter Donaldson? I bet it is. Afraid I don't know that one. But we'll do At Sundown, for sure. I think I should do My Buddy next. This is the original cover of the song before Al Jolson ever sang it. It's a little more artistic. And this tune came out in 1922. Probably one of Donaldson's two biggest hits, with the possible exception of My Blue Heaven being another million seller that might have beat it out. But My Buddy is a gorgeous song. Lyrics by Gus Kahn. Yeah, Gus Kahn is the main lyricist that Donaldson worked with, who I'm sure they were very good friends. They wrote so many songs together. Let me play this for you now. We'll do a slow one and then Frank's request. And there's My Buddy. There's a very interesting recording. If you love this kind of music, if you love history, you should check it out. It's called, it's a recording of a historic performance in San Francisco from about 1940. It might have been the Golden Gate Exposition. I'm sorry, there's a long title to the album. It's a 3 CD set, and it has recordings of all of the most famous composers, popular songwriters, so to speak, performing their own songs. Everyone from George M. Cohan to Irving Berlin to Shelton Brooks and Ragtime era composers. Gene Schwartz plays Chinatown, My Chinatown, I think. And Jerome Kern plays 2 or 3 songs with Tony Martin singing. At that time, Jerome Kern was the most advanced composer, most new and interesting, and he did All the Things You Are, and all that. And anyway, Walter Donaldson is on the recording, of course, and he plays My Buddy and My Blue Heaven. Those are the 2 songs that he played. Okay, well, let's go do At Sundown. And guess what? I just happen to have the original sheet music sitting here. This is one of Donaldson's major hits from 1927. And I've known the song for years. We're even going to do the verse. And I happened to be watching one of the old movies I like from the 1940s. It's called Music for Millions, an MGM picture with June Allison, I think, and Jimmy Durante, even Margaret O'Brien's in it. And there's an actress who's still living, by the way. She's 104 years old. Her name is Marcia Hunt. She was very popular in the 30s and 40s. And she sang this song and did it real slow. And I told her when I got to meet her, I thought that was very beautiful. And so I'm going to start out doing it that way, and then we'll do it as a foxtrot, the way that everybody knows it. At sundown, when love is calling me home, words and music both by Donaldson. I think we got the stream back, folks. Don't go away too quick. Boy, we're down to only 18 people on YouTube. Wonder if there's a big basketball game this weekend. Was playing at the Strater Hotel when I was at work last night. I wouldn't know. Let's get right back to the music, and I'm going to do a couple of songs, a couple more from the late 20s for you by Walter Donaldson, and I'll make a medley out of two of them. Just Like a Melody Out of the Sky, which was recorded by Gene Austin, and right after that we'll do a pretty tune he wrote called My Ohio Home. I always play that for the tourists from Ohio. I realized that was Donaldson too. And so we'll do Just Like a Melody Out of the Sky first, complete with the verse, and then My Ohio Home. Both from 1928, I believe. and just like a melody out of the sky. Donaldson wrote such wonderful melodies that, they're sophisticated enough to be interesting, but they're still simple enough that people can hum them and sing them. And his music has been loved for, we're well over 100 years since he started writing songs. What other requests can I get for you, folks? Little White Lies. Yeah, I'm going to do that. This is Roger Gustafson on YouTube. Thanks so much for tuning in, Roger. We're going to do Little White Lies, and I thought about learning You're Driving Me Crazy for tonight, but I didn't have time. That's a great one that's pretty well known, but let me check Facebook. Frank on Facebook says the Grammy Awards are on. That's why the attendance might be a little down tonight. A lot of my friends are musicians, of course, so yeah, that's part of it. Talking to Bob Trafton now. Says, lost the video signal 3 times. I think it's only been twice. And even so, I'm still very pleased with the streaming app that I'm using. It only lasted for about 30 seconds, and it's allowed me to stream on YouTube and Facebook at the same time with pretty good video and audio. I was using my old iPad for a while, and the video and the audio is just not nearly as good as the iPhone. It's amazing how good the iPhone video and audio is, but I'm going to keep going now, unless I get any more requests. Let me do some more of the hot 20s tunes that he wrote. That Certain Party is another one that was done by many, many different bands. And actually, I'm going to do one here from 1931 called Hello Beautiful. So we'll do That Certain Party and follow that right up with Hello Beautiful. very much. Thanks, everybody. Hello, beautiful, and that certain party. I'm running out of the right terms to describe these songs, except for Roaring Twenties. I think that's the best term, and these are some of the greatest songs of that period, which is pretty much what I love the most. This is Jerry on Facebook. Says, Maurice Chevalier sang that song in a Betty Boop cartoon. I had no idea. Yeah, already played How You Gonna Keep 'Em Down on the Farm. I just don't happen to know You're Driving Me Crazy by heart. I should have learned it. I knew somebody would ask me for that. Darn it. It was a hit for Rudy Valley. If you've never heard it, look up the record. It's terrific. What other requests would we like, everybody? I'd like to get to as many as I can. And let's see. Whoa. While I'm waiting for some requests, here's another one of these really terrific Roaring Twenties style tunes that Donaldson wrote. And I've been working on this for the last few days. I've played it before, but it has a wonderful verse and even a patter chorus to it. The patter chorus is a third part to popular songs in those days. And it was called a patter because the people singing the tune would almost talk the lyrics, you know. It was usually kind of short, but just another interesting touch that they added in those songs sometimes. And this is Sam the Old Accordion Man. Here we go. Sam the Old Accordion Man. Thank you, folks. Okay, looks like a few people recognized it. Well, we're about halfway through the concert, so let me mention again real briefly, I do accept virtual tips for these concerts. I'm going to try to get to as many requests as I can in order to earn those tips. but you can send them in by PayPal or Venmo. The information should be in the postings on both YouTube and Facebook. And if you're so inclined, I even have a P.O. box for checks on my website. There's the second commercial for tonight's concert. And we're going to keep going. Please do send in some requests. Maybe I can get to some of them. And I don't mind representing another songwriter tonight. I will probably have to do that to fill out time just a little bit. Yeah, I've got about 4 or 5 Donaldson tunes left. So what else would you like? Yeah, that's a very good point. Bob on YouTube is mentioning how some songwriters became famous, but others who were equally deserving just remained out of the spotlight. I don't know why. While I wait for some more, well, I'll keep going with the Donaldson tunes, and we're going into the late 20s and early 30s now. Of course, one of the shows that he wrote on Broadway, which starred Eddie Cantor, was a show called Makin' Whoopee. And the original Broadway show featured George Olson and his orchestra. And George Olson is probably my favorite of all the 1920s dance bands, with the possible exception of the Coon Sanders Nighthawks. It'd be hard for me to pick between them. There's so many other great... Maybe we're back. Thanks for hanging in there, folks. I'm sorry that's happening a lot tonight. There's one more test that I'm going to do with this streaming app, and I really, sorry I haven't done that yet. I don't know if it's fixable or not. We're going to keep going. We're going to do Makin' Whoopee, which is from the same Broadway show as Love Me or Leave Me. Unfortunately, I don't know that one by heart. But then we'll do another of the most popular Donaldson songs from the early 1930s, which is called Sweet Jenny Lee. And I love this tune. I recorded it with a Western swing band. For some reason, a number of Western swing and country artists have done this song. Even Willie Nelson, for example. And that's probably because Bob Wills did it way back. The original sheet music features Guy Lombardo, more of a traditional band leader. So here's Makin' Whoopee, followed right up by Sweet Jenny Lee. I saw a request for one of Donaldson's songs that I was already planning to play. In fact, I think this answers a couple of requests from a few people. We're going to do Little White Lies, and then another one of his big hits of the early 1930s. Actually, this one's about 1934. And it was written for a movie. Of course, by the 1930s, a lot of the popular songwriters had moved from New York out to Hollywood. And I played this a few weeks back. It's called Did I Remember? A beautiful song that was written for a Jean Harlow movie, 1934. So here's some of his Depression tunes. We'll do Little White Lies and Did I Remember? And there's Did I Remember? Those are a couple of Donaldson's later tunes. Donaldson lived until about 1947, I think, is what I read the other day. And I'm sure he kept writing songs, like most songwriters do, until the end of his life. I have one or two more to play for you, but in the meantime, please send in some requests. I'll try and get in one or two more before I either quit for the night or the stream decides to fly out into outer space. So let me know what you'd like to hear. And is someone named Gary's? Did you mean to type Sweet Jenny Lee? I just played that. I hope you got to hear it. Yeah, I just played Sweet Jenny Lee. Sorry about that. I could represent another songwriter. I was thinking I might try Silver, Brown, and Henderson since I mentioned them. They wrote, 5'2". They wrote The Black Bottom and The Birth of the Blues for a Broadway show called George White's Scandals, which was enormously successful. Let me know what you'd like. I'm not getting any responses here yet on Facebook or YouTube. There's a delay, so sometimes it takes a minute for me to read it. Oh, well, let's see. If I'm out of focus on YouTube, you need to adjust the resolution yourself on the screen on YouTube. Usually that happens. We're streaming fine now. Maybe I'll do Margie. Frank wants to hear Margie, so what the heck? You get a lot of tunes tonight, Frank. I mentioned Conrad at the beginning of the show. He wrote Oh Frenchie. He also wrote Margie with another one of my very favorite songwriters, J. Russell Robinson. So here's my arrangement of Margie. And there's Margie. Thanks, everybody. Kentucky Rag. Gosh, I've never heard of that. Sorry about that. It has to be something I kind of know by heart. That's the only rule, really. Please send in some more requests. I could do with at least one more tonight, maybe another songwriter. While I wait for maybe some tunes to come in here in the chat, I'm going to play another Donaldson song for you. And this one came out in 1929. I just learned it this week for this show. It's called Romance. And I believe this is the original cover of the sheet music. Music by Donaldson, words by Edgar Leslie. And the reason I thought of this tune is because it was revived a few years later, not too many years later, in 1942 in a wartime movie called When Johnny Comes Marching Home. And the movie really starred Alan Jones and Jane Frazee, but Gloria Jean was in it too, and she autographed this copy of the music for me. Now, I sort of have an autographed copy of one of Donaldson's songs, and so this is the movie edition. You can see Phil Spitalny, the band leader on the cover, who led an all-girl orchestra. And also Gloria Jean and Donald O'Connor. They were known for making movies together at that time. And Gloria Jean signed that for me a few years ago. I'm not going to use that autographed copy. We're going to use this old one. And I'm going to play Romance for you now. In 6/8 time. I hate 6/8 time. It's hard to play. on? That's Romance by Walter Donaldson. A little bit of a different type of a tune for him. It shows that he was a well-rounded composer as well, I think. Oh, thank you, Janice, for the kind words. She says, I'd rather watch you than the Grammys. I appreciate that very much. I didn't even know they were on. I highly doubt very much music is included that I would like. I know they do have some historical categories like best album notes and so forth, but that's about the only thing that would interest me. What else will we like? I'd like to get in another request here if I can tonight. Maybe I'll play the De Silva, Brown, and Henderson songs. Oh, Karen wants to hear Japanese Sandman. That's not a bad idea. That's a Richard Whiting song, another songwriter from the same period who's kind of similar to Donaldson. Akimi wants to know why I'm saying I hate 6/8. I just find it difficult to play because I'm so used to that marching bass in the ragtime that it's hard for me to do something slightly different. I don't dislike it. And so here's Japanese Sandman, complete with the original verse. This is from the early 20s, music by Richard Whiting, who was Margaret Whiting's father, by the way. That's the Japanese Sandman. Thank you, folks. Any last minute requests now? Oh, hey, Dave, that's wonderful news. Can't wait to see you down in Oxford. The Old Time Piano Contest is going to be back in person, finally. And I don't compete anymore. They just have me as the MC. You know, I introduce the contestants and ask them what they're going to play and that kind of thing. So maybe I'll go ahead and play my goodnight song for this evening, just in case the stream cuts out again. Might be a wise choice to do. So I picked a Donaldson song to close the night, and this is called 1,000 Good Nights. There's the original music cover with Donald Novus on the cover. He was a wonderful tenor in the late 20s and early 30s, became very famous singing with Gus Arnheim's orchestra, which is the same band that Bing Crosby sang with for a while. Later on, Donald Novus was featured at the Golden Horseshoe Revue at Disneyland. I think he was a friend of Walt Disney's. So anyhow, here's 1,000 Good Nights. Thank you very much, everyone. That's 1,000 good nights. If I leave it there, I guess I'm ending a little early. Does anybody mind? Unless you send in some requests, I can't keep going here. So I feel bad if I don't know them, of course. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I really appreciate the tips tonight, especially when I have technical problems that are more or less my fault. I appreciate that. And I'm going to be back next week. Maybe the Grammys won't be on, and let me know what you'd like to hear. I was thinking I might do a boogie and blues night. I haven't done that in a long time. And another option might be a night of Broadway songs, show tunes. I haven't done that in a while. I only ever did that once. So let me know what you'd like to hear the most. Always email me, Facebook me, whatever you like. And so thanks for tuning in tonight, folks. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Okay.